In the last clip, I pointed to some evidence that intraprostatic injections of antibiotics are a safe and effective treatment for prostatitis. But the problem is that Zha-Wei therapy isn't just an injection of antibiotics, it also includes other substances which are not disclosed. And that means that as far as evidence about Zha-Wei therapy itself goes, it's lacking, at least published in English in a reputable journal. Now I'd just like to talk a little bit about what we would have ideally, and to explain how I'm hoping that what I'm doing can at least partially substitute for the ideal situation. And the ideal situation is one in which we had multiple medical trials, preferably double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, which are with large sample sizes, so the trials are high-powered, and published in a peer-reviewed medical journal. Now, I can't provide that. I'm an individual, so there's no control group. It's possible that the placebo effect would be very small in my case, and the reason I say that is that according to something quoted in one of Dan Shoska's papers, the one about nanobacteria, I believe, the placebo effect for long-term prostatitis sufferers is much smaller than for many other groups of patients. So that the absence of a placebo control group probably isn't terribly serious. And on top of that, the very high efficacy rates claimed for the therapy, meaning that a failure to cure even a single individual starts to bring the claim rate into some doubt. So problems in some respects aren't as big as they might be. But I'd just like to examine a little why we tend to most value studies that are published in peer-reviewed journals. And I think the reason for that is that it gives us some reassurance that the methodology of the study is valid, and that the results haven't been faked, and the mechanism that prevents or discourages faking of results in peer-reviewed journals is one of reputation. The researcher's reputation is at stake, the reputation of the peer reviewers is at stake, and also the reputation of the journal is at stake. So there are actually quite strong incentives to prevent or to discourage the people involved from making things up. Now, up to this point, you may have been wondering why this strange, geeky, tramp-like individual who can't string a sentence together is actually choosing to video himself. And this is the answer. The answer is that if I write things, which I'm much more comfortable doing, I can just make things up. And if I'm subject to some kind of influence, the cost of succumbing to that influence is quite low. I don't have to appear in front of the camera and lie. I can just write away on the keyboard, hit return, and there it is. At the same time, if I video things, I have to appear, video myself lying, and I have enough trouble persuading myself to sit down to video what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I dread to think what it would be like if I was telling porkies. But also, perhaps more importantly, I can actually video the evidence collection process. So what I'm planning to do is to, before I start treatment, get a truss scan done, transrectal ultrasound, and to video that process, and hopefully to capture, using the little video camera, some of the pictures from the screen. Now they won't be very high quality, but they'll be close enough for you to be able to match through to JPEGs that I'll get them to save and that I'll post somewhere else later. So there'll be some kind of visual reference mapping in from me going to the ultrasound room to the production of these pictures, probably showing quite extensive classification in my case, I believe. Okay, so that's one thing that I can record and show you. And the other is some of the results to do with prostatic fluid, expressed prostatic fluid. I'm planning to video that procedure, and the microscope and microbiology lab is directly opposite the doctor's office and the examination room. So it'll just be a matter of taking the slide, walking across, sticking it under the microscope, pointing the video camera at the screen of the microscope, and you'll be able to see if there are lots of white blood cells there or pus cells. And the last time I had an EPS test, there was quite a high pus cell count, and that was a while back, and I've not been getting very much treatment since then. And I can also video the samples for cultures being obtained, which isn't ideal because obviously I can't video the cultures actually being cultured because it takes several days, but it's better than nothing. From there, I'm planning to video at least some of the injection sessions, because I think that it's important that if the injections are actually very painful, that people know about it, because it's one aspect of the treatment which needs to be taken into account. I'm hoping they're not, obviously, but my impression is that a fraction, a percentage of the injections is likely to be painful. I'll find out in due course. On top of that, I can also video urine, because the calcification is supposed to come out in one's urine, and in fact there are many samples lining the doctor's offices of the Zha-Wei hospital, which I've already seen. Now, once again, I should be able to video the process from the production of the urine right through to under the microscope. And then when I've done a treatment course, or perhaps when I've completed the whole treatment, I'm not sure, I can redo these procedures and provide objective, hard evidence of some kind of effect, I hope. And that's the reason that I'm sitting here boring the hell out of 10 people.